At the edge of our solar system, at first glance, it looked like just another rock, a wandering traveler from the void. But then, the anomalies began to stack up. Its velocity was extraordinary, its path unusually precise, and its surface reflecting light in ways no typical asteroid could. And when scientists traced its route backward through the darkness, they realized it wasn't just passing through. It was heading straight for the beating heart of our planetary neighborhood. The James Webb Space Telescope turned its gaze toward it. And what it began to reveal was not just unprecedented, it was something we may not be prepared for. Because if it's not just a visitor, if it's something watching us, the entire definition of deep space might be about to change forever. Between July 10 and July 14, 2025, the Atlas tracking system locked onto it, a mysterious interstellar object that would be named 3 Atlas. But unlike the countless icy wanderers catalogued over the years, 3 Atlas defied every expectation. It was moving at over 100,000 parsecs, a speed consistent with known interstellar objects but remarkable nonetheless. Yet, it followed no known orbital path. And when its origin was backtracked, it didn't point to the Kuiper belt or even the farthest reaches near Neptune. Instead, it came from deep interstellar space, a region so remote it had likely been traveling for millennia before entering our cosmic neighborhood. The timing was the first red flag. Before 2017, humanity had never detected an interstellar object. In the short years since, we've encountered 2 confirmed ones. And each one has been stranger, faster, and more baffling than the last. Oumuamua in 2017 was elongated and moved with unexplained acceleration. Borisov in 2019 was faster and more volatile. And now 3 Atlas, brighter, more precise, and far more unsettling. The James Webb's instruments began dissecting its light signature, but the data only deepened the mystery. The object's reflected brightness suggested it could be massive. Yet scans showed it was surprisingly small, roughly the size of Oumuamua, about 100 meters long. This contradiction hinted at a surface unlike anything natural, possibly more reflective than typical rock, though not necessarily polished metal. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, who famously speculated that Oumuamua could have been artificial, immediately raised the same concern here. Look for non-gravitational acceleration, he urged, because if it was propelling itself, that meant intent. From the start, 3 Atlas seemed to be a cosmic hybrid, combining the inexplicable acceleration of Oumuamua with the comet-like inbound trajectory of Borisov, yet fitting neatly into neither category. Its motion was deliberate, almost surgical. It didn't tumble chaotically like a natural fragment. It rotated with unnerving symmetry, one side consistently absorbing more heat than the other as if it had a structure optimized for thermal regulation. Webb's sensitive thermal sensors detected a faint constant signature, structured, not random. And then came the most unsettling discovery: it was adjusting its course in small precise increments without any detectable jets of gas, dust, or debris that would explain such changes. This wasn't a drifting rock being nudged by sunlight. This was something steering. Spectral analysis from NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center shattered any remaining assumptions. The readings showed carbon-based compounds in arrangements more complex than expected for natural geology. Though not definitively artificial, complex electromagnetic fluctuations hinted at unusual internal structures hidden beneath its surface. This was no mere lump of cosmic debris. It was potentially a machine. And if it was a machine, it meant it had a maker. At this point, whispers began circulating among scientists across continents. Whispers that spoke not of what it was, but of who had sent it and why. Then, without warning, the flow of information slowed. Agencies that had been sharing updates, NASA, the European Space Agency, began limiting their data releases to closed networks. Public databases updated less frequently. Observation logs became less detailed, and independent researchers faced delays in telescope access. Journalists probing for answers were met with carefully worded statements that emphasized ongoing analysis over definitive conclusions. This cautious approach ignited a new theory, that something had been found. Something too disruptive to release without careful consideration. In space, silence can be more revealing than any official statement. If 3 Atlas was truly artificial, its existence could upend more than just astronomy. It could challenge politics, global security, and humanity's understanding of its place in the cosmos. For centuries, the night sky had been indifferent, vast, and empty. Now, in the span of a few years, it seemed to be filling with purposeful visitors. Some scientists quietly speculated about patterns. 2 confirmed interstellar objects in under a decade, each stranger than the last. Was this random? Or was it the slow, deliberate unfolding of a plan? And if so, was 3 Atlas the next phase or the final one? As James Webb continued its silent vigil, a darker, more unsettling hypothesis began to take hold among those still analyzing the trickle of data. What if 3 Atlas wasn't simply passing through? What if it had been waiting, triggered to become detectable only once humanity reached a certain threshold of technology? Its exact arrival at this precise moment in our advancement seemed too perfect to dismiss. For billions of years, the galaxy had been silent. Then, almost immediately after we developed tools like JWST capable of detecting objects from deep space, something appears, quiet, deliberate, and impossibly precise. This didn't feel like a message. It felt like an evaluation, a probe, not here to talk, but to observe, maybe even to judge. The more data Webb collected, the more questions replaced answers. Was it mapping our planets, studying our defenses, or was it simply watching to see what we would do? The thought that chilled scientists the most wasn't that we had found something. It was that something had found us and had possibly been waiting for this moment all along. As engineers and astrophysicists began to dig deeper into Webb's high-resolution data, they noticed patterns that couldn't be dismissed as coincidence. The reflective properties of 3 Atlas's surface varied in a way that suggested dynamic thermal management capable of altering its infrared signature depending on its orientation toward the sun. This wasn't random. This was controlled heat regulation, something spacecraft designers on Earth spend decades perfecting. The object's rotation period was consistent, almost clockwork, suggesting a stabilization system at work, perhaps inherent to its structure, hidden beneath its surface. Even more alarming were intermittent bursts of narrowband electromagnetic emissions, faint but detectable, pulsing at irregular intervals. To the untrained eye, they were noise. To specialists in communications technology, they bore resemblance to data packets, transmissions, but to where and to whom? The deeper the analysis went, the more the line between natural and constructed blurred until the evidence tilted heavily toward the latter. And that left one unavoidable reality. If 3 Atlas was built, it was built by something or someone out there. Tracking its trajectory backward through interstellar space proved challenging, but the effort yielded yet another layer of intrigue. Its path didn't align with any known stellar system in our local neighborhood, as if it had been drifting or traveling through empty space for tens of thousands of years. No home star, no clear point of launch. This raised an even stranger possibility. The Atlas might